In 2019, the United Property Resource Corporation, the UPRC, was created through the United Church's General Council Executive. In partnership with CMHC, the UPRC was created as a bold response to the housing crisis and also to addressing the needs of many communities of faith across the denomination. The UPRC is building together to design and build resilient communities for the common good. The UPRC believes in holistic sustainability, meaningful engagement, regenerative value, the common good, and designed resilience.
UPRC is about unlocking real estate for social purpose, including building affordable housing, doing it in a way that is climate positive and responsive to the climate crisis, and community positive. It's about supporting local communities of faith and their real estate that supports local ministry in perpetuity.
For us, it's really about a connection with community and the ability to provide a better way of life for everyone, not just humans, but the ability for us to think about sustainability, restorative, regenerative design.
And they're doing it from a place of value alignment. It's not from a place of marketing. They're truly communities at the center of who they are.
The idea that if we use the real estate assets within the United Church and think of it as a portfolio, the possibilities are so much greater when we work together.
But also, things that we forget about, especially in urban centers, about the social impact that we can have through the way that we approach our processes, but also the way that we build buildings. So that
UPRC is about supporting different ways for ministry in perpetuity, to think about places for faith formation, to think about community need, including the development of affordable housing, community space, to be environmentally sustainable, to work towards right relations, as well as being anti-racist and anti-colonial in every respect.
Through the UPRC, there is an opportunity to fill a gap in the housing market and to advocate for progressive real estate models.
Housing is critically important and is truly the link around the property portfolio.
Yeah, we are always in need of housing. It's a basic human need. And
we have made a commitment, and the United Church made the bold commitment to deliver 5,000 affordable units by 2037. And collectively that represents almost 20,000 new homes, housing over 37,000 Canadians.
Goal, and I think it's a great goal for the UPRC, but it also should be a goal for society, is to take care of everyone in an equal way.
Our housing is universally designed to ensure openness and accessibility for all. And the UPRC is committed to housing for those in greatest need.
We're incredibly uniquely positioned to be a huge and significant player in dealing with the housing crisis in Canada.
So because that's core to what we're doing, I think we're going to have new, affordable, and mixed-use housing across the country that may not have existed without us.
Our buildings address the climate crisis head-on through environmentally responsible building practices aimed at net zero carbon emissions. We're committed to building connected communities that can help mitigate climate change.
But we can't efficiency our way out of climate change. We actually need to change how we do things, how we operate, and that means fuel switching, electrifying, thinking about the supply chain and the full life cycle of materials we use, and that's systemic change.
So being climate positive is a pillar of UPRC's work. To recognize that as a developer, we can lead in terms of being carbon neutral or really striving to be net zero in terms of our buildings.
That's why there's an opportunity here. Because of the national scope and scale, we can actually do this on many projects over many years. And as I was saying before, create this exemplar of how this kind of project can be done in the future.
It really is about the values of the United Church. It's about living in respect to creation.
I think the other aspect of climate positive is it turns out that all of the changes we need to solve climate change also have mass benefit for humans and animals and for the planet in general. And that's where the positive side comes in. We're not just solving some esoteric problem that's hard to see or hard to understand. It's actually a much bigger issue that spreads to society, to the world, to the planet, and has a lot to do with equality and justice and access to a healthy and safe environment.
But very much recognizing that this is such a unique opportunity to be a leader in the development field around climate sustainability.
The UPRC is committed to ongoing impact measurement and evaluation, focused in 3 areas: people, buildings, and community. People metrics capture the experience of individuals in a building and also measure achievement per person. Building metrics help us to understand how a building will perform and compare that to other buildings. And community metrics allow us to understand and quantify the impact of projects on the common good.
No matter how big or small a project is, it can actually really achieve a high level of performance. Each project can benefit from the huge amount of research that has done on other projects and the systems that have been set up on other projects, which really wouldn't be possible, especially on the small projects. It just wouldn't be sustainable to set up.
The UPRC believes that vibrant diversity is the foundation for resilient communities working together to serve the common good.
Well, first of all, I think that we're going to be creating these very interesting, dynamic, and diverse communities. And so the impact, just that impact means that they're going to be very healthy communities, because I think healthy communities are made up of diversity.
Building. So that's the exciting part for me, is the social impact that this work can have, which you don't see a lot. You know, when it's developer driven, it's really about your pro forma and making money. Whereas this, I think there's the immeasurable things that I think are as important or more important than a typical piece of architecture.
And I think equity is at the core of that. So I think that overall what we will create are these incredible new communities that are sustainable, and that people will have a long-term life and family life forever.
The UPRC is about creating long-term relationship for the long-term sustainability of vibrant centers of place and meaning making.
If you're talking about being afraid, we were definitely there. You know, I would sort of brace myself every time it came time to look at the financials.
There's no one model that fits all. Our projects are from rural Nova Scotia to downtown Toronto. And it really is about supporting communities of faith around property, to think of property as an asset that can fuel mission as well as be mission.
All of that, everyone is invited and included here. We're also known as the House of Friendship, and so that's something we were known in the community. We still are. We've made a point to keep that in our mission, to keep St. Luke's the House of Friendship.
Our properties are a gift from a past generation in many ways, and they were committed to having an impact in the world. And UPRC has lifted that up and constantly remind us that these are gifts to be stewarded for the sustainability of a mission that reaches out to people.
When property has been in the past thought of as an individual congregation's responsibility to drive it forward, has very much relied on one or two key individuals and can take a decade and beyond. And really, UPRC is about gathering that institutional knowledge to think of our successes and to learn from places where we haven't been successful. So really that we can create repeatable innovation across the portfolio.
The UPRC, they're nothing short of a godsend, of a blessing. We didn't even know that type of organization could exist.
When you offer your people a way to stay together without having to do another roast beef dinner, I mean, who's going to say no?
One of the really unique things about the UPRC is that they not only are the developer, they're also the property managers. So lifting the burden of what happens after a project is complete off of communities of faith. They're in it for the long haul.
Our other two buildings, we have to provide the management. And so, again, trying to get board members is horrendous these days.
You know, I think that the greatest benefit is that we're developing housing and reimagining communities of faith to be financially sustainable.
It is also important for me that it's connected to the broad mission of the work of the United Church of Canada. Our properties are an incredible part of the resources that God has given to us, and UPRC provides an opportunity for us to live fully into that.
By building and planning 50 years into the future, the commitment is about communities first, bringing together partners in a variety of communities to listen for that sense of call of where God just might be.
If you'd like to learn more about UPRC, our projects, and our vision, please visit us at www.uprc.ca.